Hey there, nerdpreneurs. Welcome back to Market Like a Nerd. And get ready to geek out with me because today I'm joined by local marketing stars founder, Oguz Konar. Hey there, Oz.
Hey Amanda, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to Nerdpreneur Nation.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, we are stoked to have you. Now, for everyone who's listening, today we're going to be talking about how Oz here helped a company generate 321 real-time hot leads in just 90 days. Wowza. So first, let me tell you a little bit about him, and then we'll dive into his tips and his story for how he did this and how you can do this too, okay? So ever since the days of selling water in flea markets at age 7, Oz has been obsessed with business development and lead generation. He's the best-selling author of 2 books on small business development and marketing. He's also the founder of 3 successful companies. As the president of LMS, he is responsible for developing strategies and systems to help clients get massive results and make money. In his free time, he loves hanging out with his wife, his son, and their troublemaker dog, Tofu. Tisk tisk, Tofu. Oz has been consistently honored with many awards for the past 15 years, as well as speaking at various events, helping and coaching hundreds of small business owners with their marketing-related problems. Now, that's the overview of his story and biography, but I want you to get to know the real Oz. So, before we dive into the meat of today's episode, let's have some fun. You ready, Oz?
Maybe. I don't know.
Why does everyone seem so scared of my questions?
Well, I listened to a couple of the past episodes. I'm like, am I ready for this?
Yeah,
I guess
I have a moderately sadistic sense of humor. So thank you for giving me some comic relief for today, I guess.
I am nervous, but I'm ready. I'm ready.
I think we'll be nice to you. So, all right.
Oh, thank you.
I know you're a nonfiction bookworm, right?
Yes.
So would you rather read your favorite nonfiction book over and over again for the rest of your life without reading any other book, or have unlimited access to fiction?
I have not tried fiction, so I think I'll take the unlimited access. Because I'm sure I can find something that I like, which is close enough to nonfiction.
Yeah.
I'll go with that one. Yeah.
I like fiction. I used to love nonfiction when I grew up. I mean, the schools I went to were super English based, so they did a ton of nonfiction work. And I think I got kind of tired of it after a while, and then I turned to fiction, and I got super, super obsessed with it. So some of my early marketing savvy that I learned was actually from fiction books.
I do believe. I mean, I don't hate fiction. I still have books that I read in the past,
Yeah.
and I know that reading fiction book helps more with the copywriting skills than nonfiction, because nonfiction, after a while, you're just repeating the same concepts over and over again with different take back from different people, different perceptions and whatnot. But that's not going to be bad. I can take that.
Cool. Now, you also love to fish. So
Yes.
would you rather catch a great white shark or accidentally discover a ghost ship loaded with pirate treasure?
Oh, definitely the second one.
Yeah, I think so too. Who wouldn't
I can't
say
probably
that,
fish
right?
it out, but I'll still like to dive in and check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got to get past the ghosts, though.
Oh, so it's really haunted.
Yeah, it's haunted. Does that change
Okay.
your answer?
No.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Let's
I
go
want
for
that
it.
treasure. Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm going for the treasure. Yeah.
Would you trade in your mini camper for a spaceship?
Yes.
All right.
Most definitely. Yeah. Well, the problem is I'm afraid of height, so I don't know if I can use a spaceship. But maybe
Oh.
I can rent it out and buy more mini trailers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rent it out. There we go. Look,
Yeah.
you're an entrepreneur, I think.
Yeah.
You love to travel. Which of these would you love to win? A trip around the world, visiting every single country, or a round trip journey to the moon?
I think there are enough number of places that I have not seen in the world. I would just stay local and not take the risk to go on the moon.
Yeah, have you seen that movie Passengers? Like going into
Yes.
space is just asking for, you to die up there. Or the movie
Yeah.
Life, or like any space movie
Yeah, so far
ever.
anything I've seen related to moon is not really portrayed positive.
No,
So I don't know
yeah.
if it's like a vacation spot or not.
Yeah, I would think not. All right, finally, most importantly, you have a dog named Tofu. Does Tofu eat meat, or is your dog a vegan?
Tofu eats everything. That's the problem. Tofu is like an 18-pound dog with the appetite of a 200-pound dog. Like he eats everything. Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. I love the name of your dog. Actually, our animals are all named after foods as well. So my cat is Eggplant.
Okay.
My tiny dog is Burrito. And
Oh, that's
then
awesome. Burrito's awesome.
yeah, and then my big dog is Chutney, like the Indian chutney. And then we had tempura was one of our fish.
Tempura. Yours is very specific. Mine is like tofu. We wanted to name him like he's super white. White
Oh,
fluffy,
okay.
like a pillow.
Yeah.
My wife said, "Why don't we just, I don't know, snowflakes and just those like very common names." I'm like, "He actually looks like tofu." She's like, "No, no, he doesn't." I'm like, "I don't know. Let's just name him Tofu."
Oh my
So we
God.
went
I
for the
love
weird and
that.
named him Tofu. But yeah, every time we take him somewhere, his vet and everyone that knows him, they laugh at the name. They make fun of him.
That's the best. All right, perfect. So, let's put the amusement of your dog aside and get down to business. How's that sound?
All right, yeah, let's do it.
All right, Oz, you told me you were going to share with us today about how you helped a company generate 321 real-time hot leads in 90 days. So let's dive in. Get a little OCD for us and break it down into your 3 main steps or tips that you have for us today. Take it away.
Absolutely. So when we met this company, they have been doing marketing for a long time. They have been around for a long time, and every time they tried it, it failed, right? So the owner is like super freaking skeptical about any marketing guy or girl because they tried SEO, paid advertising, and all that stuff. And they went through 20 interviews to meet 3 people, and only 3 people agreed to show up in person. And I was one of those people, and they happened to be in New York City, and my office is in New York City. I had a slight advantage, obviously. If you're in Atlanta, you can't really do a face-to-face meeting, right?
Yeah.
So I showed up.
Actually, good for you, by the way, because a lot of marketing consultants and coaches, they have this ego around not going above and beyond to get the client. And I'm very firm on it does not matter how big I get. I am not above doing anything for the people I want to help. So good
Absolutely.
for you.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with that. We're running multi-million-dollar campaigns for pretty big guys, and it doesn't matter. I understood their problem. I know that they were not afraid to spend marketing dollars, right? If someone doesn't believe in marketing, that's definitely difficult to convert. And I'm not going to spend my time trying to convince them why marketing matters. But they claim they tried everything and it doesn't work, then I have a personal problem with that.
Yeah.
Marketing works.
Yes.
You're doing it the right way, right? Then I said, all right. So I drove, we sat down, and they just went on and on and on about why it doesn't work and why the marketing gurus and all those people are shysters and all that stuff. And they finished. I'm like, all right, are you guys done? Let's talk about your real problem. So we went through questioning. So the first tip I teach other consultants and also business owners is that you got to understand your audience, like your customer. Many of the problems are not related to the tools you're using or the company that you're using. It's just you're not really understanding the needs of your customers.
Yeah.
If you're making your offer really boilerplate and people are not responding, well, that's just because that's not specific enough. You're not speaking the same language as your customers. So this specific company, they're selling business loans. And within their own industry, the terminology, the way they define themselves is merchant cash advance company. I don't know about you, but many people don't know what that means. Merchant cash advance, right? So people don't search Google that way, and they base all their advertising on that because they assume, hey, I know this, and they know it. I guess that works fine.
No one would ever
No one
look
would
that up.
search that way, and that was the first thing. And they said, well, people search for merchant cash advance, and I said, what do you base that on? Like, we all know it. I'm like, no, that's not true. People search what they search, and you got to start from there, right? You got to meet your client where they are instead of pushing your terms on them.
Yeah.
So first of all, we just redesigned our entire marketing around the terms that your customers use. So the first step is by understanding your customer, build a vocabulary of what words your customers use to
Oh my
describe their
gosh.
problem.
This is
Not,
so huge because even those little subtle changes can make such a big difference. I know
I,
in my business I did something very similar.
mhm.
So in the past when I became a coach, I used the language that pretty much everyone else uses, you know, like business owners want to get to six figures and the
Right.
six figure mark that was the language that I was using in a lot of my messaging because I thought that was what people wanted. And then
Right.
the more that I talked to my ideal clients and the more that I like stopped taking advice from my coaches who were at like 7, 8 figures and actually started talking to the people who were at like 4, 5, 6 figures, the people who
Hmm.
are actually the ideal clients. I realized that's not what they wanted. That's not how they talk about it. They talk about it in terms of cash flow or
Yeah.
consistent paychecks. And I
Hmm.
started talking about those things and it was like the floodgates opened.
Oh, yeah. The demand is already there, right? You're not creating demand with your marketing. Demand already exists. It's just you connecting with that demand, and you just did that.
Yeah.
And we did exact same thing with this company too. Instead of them talking about, like, instead of them saying, Amanda, do you want $100,000 in loan? We can give it to you in 48 hours. They think that's the solution. But
Mm-hmm.
Amanda's problem is different. Maybe her question is, well, am I going to be able to make the payroll this week? Or will
Mm.
I be able to take home some monies for my kid's birthday? Or can I pay some bills? So their problem is not a specific amount they need to get within 48 hours. They have a specific problem. Then you can offer that solution. So once we made that tweak, which in their case was a major one because all of their marketing was created 8 years ago and it all reflected the same thing.
Yeah.
So it required a lot of change in the mindset, not so much in change in the funnel or the platforms, not Facebook or Google. And I think that's required in many of the businesses. That's the second tip. It's not the platform or the tool that you use. It's just matching the right tool to the right job.
Yeah, because if it was the tool that was the problem, no matter how much you changed the Facebook ad, for example, the Facebook ad wouldn't work if
No.
Facebook was the problem. But that's not the case. When I run Facebook ads, I run like 5 different ads just to test messaging, just to test
Yep.
how I'm talking about what I do. And one of them's going to land.
That's it. It's all about testing. You're not doubting the system platform. You're just making sure that you're dialing in the right message, right? That's the way to do it. But many businesses, they are results oriented, which is okay. I understand. But in some things, especially when you do not know what message is working, because once you test 5 campaigns and you find the gold mine, you tap on that, you double down on that one, right? Then it's all about signing up, then thinking about conversion or scaling and all that stuff. Many businesses have this mindset challenge that they keep hearing different coaches, gurus talk about scaling your business. Well, guess what? You can't really scale your business if you don't have a system and you don't have a predictable way of getting those clients coming through the door.
Yeah.
So first, get your first couple of them and make sure that you have a case study from them that you actually can get results and keep them happy. Then repeat the same thing over and over again. So again, it's not about choosing. And I get many calls from people, oh, what do you think about Instagram ads or LinkedIn ads? My response is, they work great for a lot of businesses, but I don't know if it's going to work for you or not because we have a long way to go before we get there. Let's
Yeah.
handle the message part of that. Then we'll figure out the market. Then we'll put the offer based on the right platform. So that whole mind change shift is required from the business owner itself, not from the marketing company. No marketing company will know your business as much as you do, your audience, because you're the ones you're talking to your customers every single day. It's my message to business owners is that think about it. Like think about where you want to be and have a model that don't think about your biggest offer. Let's say you're selling coaching for $10,000. Don't expect people to come through the door and buy that from you immediately, right? There's going to be a warm up. It's like dating. You
Yeah.
go on a first date and you talk and you text and all that stuff before you take the relationship to the next level. But people are confused about a lot of terminology that marketing companies use. And I think it's just going back to the fundamentals of like understanding your customer, changing your mindset as to where you want to be, then talking about the technology part.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, tip number 1 here is message before marketing. Make sure you got
Yeah.
your message before you start worrying about what marketing tools and tactics you're going to use.
Correct. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
What's next?
So next is building out the campaigns based on the message and testing it out. One thing that you mentioned before, that's exactly what we did with this company. And a funny thing is, so in the second meeting, so we met first time, then the second time, they were so curious about what funnels I'm going to be recommending or what tools, right? I said, guys, do you have a list of existing customers? They said, yeah, we do have almost 13,000 companies that funded over the years. Can you give me that list? Can you give me access to it? So like, yeah, we have an email list, but it really does not work at all because they were, believe it or not, they were sending 2 emails every week to the same group, and they were sending like those templated newsletters. Boilerplates that they hired someone from overseas, and that person was writing a generic email, sending it over and over and over again. So the open rates dropped down to like 3% or 2%.
That's ouch.
But that's why they assume that the list is dead, like no money to be made. And these are the people who bought from you before. So the second tip is people who buy from you before, it's a lot easier to sell them again and again instead of acquiring a brand new customer. So what my team did, we had access to their email. We put together a simple email, really text email, no pictures, no logo, anything like that. Made them a direct offer. At the end of that, after 2 days that email was distributed, they made in commissions $99,000 from that. From that list, they thought it was dead.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to work. I just wanted to prove them a point that it's not. They keep blaming other people. It's more internal that you got to go back to your base. You have a proven product or service. People pulled out their wallet and they bought from you. Why not go back to them and offer them something better, maybe something more advanced, and make a bunch of revenue and keep them engaged too, because they already trusted you, right?
Yeah, you're speaking my language. I talk about this all the time. In my last launch, almost 50% of the people who bought were previous clients. Yeah. And it's one of those things where a lot of clients will come to you as a marketing consultant and they expect for you to come up with this new funnel, new tactic, new strategy to bring in new leads, like to get new blood into the business. But you'd be so surprised what you can do with what you already have in place. If you already have buyers, if you already have a list, if you already have a following, the first thing you can do if you want some extra cash is just tap into what you already have.
Reach out to them, baby. Just talk to them, right?
Yes.
Simple as that. Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of difference, especially for more established businesses. Like just because someone bought, and I hear this sometimes from certain industries, well, we don't have anything else to sell them. Like they already bought from us. Then come up with something. Like you already know that they value your company, your services. I'm sure they have other problems too in parallel to what you provided to them.
Absolutely.
Then come up with a package and put it in front of them, and I guarantee you they will love that. They rather go through you again if you have been ethical with them and you delivered on your first product, than go through with someone totally new and go through that dating process again. So just look at your base, learn from them, and find out what. And another great way is interview them. Like find out what has been changing with their business. You stay on top of your business that way and put together fresh offer. I think a business needs to have like different offers, not just one product, right?
I agree. There are some marketing people and like coaches who say you have to specialize and only have one offer, but I'm a big believer in offer stacking and having multiple offers. That way you can always be making offers even to the people who have already bought your previous offers. But the other point that you reminded me of here when you were just talking is I want to point out that these were buyers that had bought a long time ago and had not really been engaging on the list up until that point. So a lot of clients will look at that list and be like, oh no, it's dead, it's unengaged, like you can't do anything with that. And I've had that happen before too, where people have come to me and they've said, well, yeah, I have buyers, but I haven't talked to them in forever. Like it's been such a long time. And when you think about it that way, you're really just putting a barrier in front of yourself to prevent you from taking action. And again, you'd just be so surprised what you can make happen when you just put an offer in front of a buyer. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You send out the offer and they say no.
Yeah, they say no, they're not interested, or better yet, they can tell, you know what, I have something similar, but my friend can help you out. You can get a lot of referrals out of that too, right? Even if you want to stick with your one product, asking your base audience who they know like themselves. People usually hang out with people like themselves. And if you have a client base of people that you served and you like them, asking them for referrals would be the cheapest way of marketing.
Oh,
without
yeah.
needing
And
an agency.
I find clients are just the absolute best referral partners too. Like there's like a group of coaches in our industry who are huge on affiliate marketing, and they like to go
Oh,
out and get
nice.
like a ton of affiliates and like promote, like get those affiliates to promote their stuff. And I've never had to do that because I find that clients are the absolute best affiliate partners. They already know you. They know your product. They know your
Yeah.
service. And if they loved it, they're going to want to shout from the rooftops and tell other people about it. So really good point. Even if you do stick with one offer, or even if the client doesn't want another offer, ask them to refer someone else to you for that offer.
Simple as
It's
that.
easy. Yeah.
Sometimes it is as easy as that. And I think over the years, since marketing people, I mean, I feel bad that I'm in that industry in that sense as well. We made things complicated for a lot of businesses, right? We
Yeah.
made them feel like, oh, you need to do this, or you need this automation tool, or you need this email management tool, and took them away from the fundamentals. Sometimes you have to make a very direct offer. Like, I'll give you another example. We have, within our company, we had an email list that we haven't hit in a while. And when you send them an email, and the email was, I'll give it away. Like, it was like the subject line was quick question. In the body of the email, hey, we're offering this and this and this for between these time periods. Would you be interested in that? Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the email offer. And 30 people responded. 20 of them jumped on the call, and 5 of them bought it.
Yeah.
How
Quick
much
and
time did
easy.
I spend on an email? I don't know, half a minute, like 30 seconds. Sometimes it could be as easy as that. But since we deal with like Infusionsoft and other different type of software, we use them. Don't get me wrong, but there's a place for that. And when you need to build those funnels, but don't get away from making direct offers with your customers. That's the
Yeah.
best way to with them.
Because if you don't make the offers, you're not going to make the money.
You're not money. And you'll be surprised people might not know what it is that you're doing, right? Sometimes we assume that they understand our business, but they might not know.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay. So number one, message over marketing. Number two, when you start diving into the marketing, a quick way to make money without getting all complicated is just to look at the opportunities you already have available to you. Do you already have clients available to you? Tap into them first with this message, because they're the people who already know, like, and trust you and are willing to buy from you, no questions asked. Beautiful. What's number three?
Number three is taking what you learn from those first 2 steps and just scaling it, using the right platform to get it out there. That's what we did with this company. We learned that they respond to that email that we sent out, which included a link to a simple form. I said, what if you take that form, put it in front of more people, and since they don't know about the business, we put a little more information about the business and try to see if you can get leads. And we tried it in 2 different platforms, just like you mentioned before, with different campaigns. We built actually 15 campaigns for them, tested it out, told the business that you're not going to get results immediately, but once we dial in, that it's going to be so easy to so-called scale this. And that's just what happened. Then the lead flow started coming in. And after that happens, like they get a steady flow of leads, what happens to a lot of business owners? They get bored. They're like, oh, so we're getting so many leads, right?
Yeah.
That happens too. I suffer from that too, and I catch myself doing it, right?
It's the serial entrepreneur in us. Oh my God. Yes.
Like, this is so predictable.
That's why we're not employees. If we were employees, we could stand to do the same thing, day in and day out. But we need it to be interesting.
But as you know, in order to become a very successful entrepreneur, what you're doing should be so predictable that it's almost boring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yup. Absolutely. And you know what else I love about this too is you mentioned that you created 15 variations of the campaign, and you created the expectation with the client, hey, this isn't going to happen right away. It's going to take some time, but once we actually hone in on which of these campaigns is going to work, then we can scale it up. And I love that, number one, I love that you did the testing because I'm a nerd. But number two, I love that you created that expectation, because I find that a lot of clients go into scaling assuming that it's as easy as taking what's worked before and then just sending more traffic to it. And sometimes it's that easy, but not always. You know, there is testing and tweaking that goes into creating a sales funnel that does work and works repeatedly for your business. There is testing and tweaking that goes into scaling, and that's just something that you have to have the time and patience for, and also sometimes even the money to support sending traffic through to funnels to test. It's why I tend to tell like newer business owners that they've got to get consistent cash flow in before they start trying to create like sales funnels and scaling their business up, because you got to have the patience and the cash flow to be able to support all of this testing.
Yeah. And also you got to stop spending $10,000, $15,000 on your website without you having a consistent way of bringing income to your company. Website is important. Branding, people will probably kill me for saying this.
I love branding, but I'm definitely more of a marketer. And actually, at any time I've ever sold websites, so I sold like 10 websites a few months ago, and like some campaign I did to my to clients, just like exactly what you were saying. Yeah, right. And I prefaced my sale like in the copy that I used. I prefaced it by telling them, "Hey, your website, it's not something that's going to make you money right now. It's going to set you up so that you look like an authority and you start to attract more opportunities, more publicity, and people trust you more. But your sales funnels, your landing pages, those are the things that are going to make you money. Your website is nice to have." And I made that preface, that disclaimer, before I actually sold them into it so that they understood that. Because I think a lot of people, you're right, they have this misconception that websites are like marketing gods, but they're not.
Yeah, if no one sees what you have, you might have a piece of gold there. It's not going to make any difference. You're going to be happy with it, or you're going to keep looking at it, show it to your wife, your husband, your friends, look how cool it is. It's just not going to bring money. And I was on a call with a client, and they brought in a branding company to work hand in hand with my company. And the branding company spent 45 minutes explaining why they need to change their logo. Well, I'm like shaking my head. I'm like, guys, stop it. Like, this logo is not worth charging $10,000. It's really not.
No.
Like, when was the last time you wanted to buy something and you looked at the logo and you said, ew, I'm not buying that crap. The logo is horrible. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love this. You're like the male version of me. So I like you.
Thank you. Yeah. And you're more direct response friendly than the branding guys of girls, right? So that's so important to have the right funnel, and you got to have a website, obviously, right? We're not saying don't have a website.
Yeah.
I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups. I'm sure you are too. People brag about, oh, I sold a $10,000 deal without a business card, without a website.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But can you do it 15, 20 times more without? You can't. That happens to all of us. We have a lucky break. It just happens. Your personality is so bubbly, and people sign up. That's awesome. But if this is not a hobby, this is a business. Right. You got to do it the proper way. Yeah. So I want to say that. I don't want people to think that no website, just go straight ahead. You need to have that, but don't spend so much time on figuring.
I like for people to do step 2. And your step 2, and then get a website, or then get a really good website. So maybe they can have like an okay website in step 1, or even before step 1. After step 2, that's when I'm usually like, okay, that's when you really want to get a good website. Like, I started out as a coach with, I had a website. It was maybe not like the sexiest thing ever. It was, it was okay. It did its job. But then about a year ago, I think at this point, that's when I invested like tens of thousands of dollars in my website. But at that point, I had already been generating tons of money. I already had sales funnels that were working, like I could support it, and I could support that investment. And it wasn't for me about making money as much as it was, I just wanted to up my authority status and set it up so that I could get, pretty seamless publicity.
Which is awesome. And that's the right order to do it for another reason, Amanda. When you first start out, you're spending, let's say, $15,000 on a website. You don't know your audience that well, right? But up until now, you've been through so many people and so many yeses, nos, and success stories. Now you know what they're going to respond to. Then at that point, it's okay to create a website that's really, really like all the functionalities and that has the branding. integrated into it, and you build yourself as the authority. But there's a place for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. All right, cool. So, Oz, you have already given us so much value. Thank you so much. I'm sure that we're going to have more questions for you, though. So, for our nerdpreneurs who are listening, who want to get an A plus for effort and are going to take that extra step to look you up, can you make it easier on them? Where can they find you online, or what's the gift you have for us today?
The best way to find me online is through our website, which is localmarketingstars.com. And on that website, there's actually a section where they can download an ebook where I talk about more strategies. Than I only talk about 3 here, but there are more where they can, within 90 days, generate massive results by just replicating a system that we use for all of our clients.
Beautiful. And that's at localmarketingstars.com?
Localmarketingstars.com.
Awesome. There you have it, Nerdpreneur Nation. Our marketing superhero has swooped in to save the day. To learn more about Oz and his grab his free gift, head on over to localmarketingstars.com. And if you're listening from like your phone right now, or for whatever reason you can't get over there, you can head over to the website, and on our show notes, you can actually click the link to head on over to his gift as well. So there you go, guys. Thank you, Oz, for being here.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, and thank you guys for listening. We hope you learned a lot. Can't wait to hear where these tips take you, and we'll catch you next time on Market Like a Nerd. Have a nerdtastic day, guys. Bye.
Bye.